Where to go live? Okay, cool. Let's go and find the right page here. Put the button over here, and over here. There we go. All right, that is what we're going to be watching today. Oh, seem to have something stuck in my throat. My throat. What the hell's a croat? All right, let's see here. Copy that. Bring it over here. Pop this out. Why did it do that? Okay, fix that. Delete that. Yes, delete. Ah, to heck with it. It's not a big deal. So let's go ahead and hop on in here real quick. Okay. So let's head on over here. We can have a little chat. So, hey everyone. So I just got off work about a couple hours ago, and apparently the Duskmourn previews have started coming out. So we need to start digging in here and actually taking a look at these. I have been very vigilant at staying as far away from Twitter as possible because that's where all the spoilers end up. So I have not seen this. This is an hour-long video, or hour-long live stream of the Duskmourn House of Horror PAX West panel. So we're going to be taking a look at this and giving our thoughts as the live stream goes on. So let's go take a look. Oh, okay. I need to fix this a little bit. All right, pop that up. All right, I'm gonna shrink myself down just a bit. I'm gonna go down here in the corner. That way, I'm not intruding on what other people might see. Okay, so this is it. Duskmourn House of Horror. We're gonna take a look at what new cards we're going to be playing with soon. So let's take a peek.
Original and professional salad shooter.
All Night Frights. Oh, so we get a little skit.
It's kind of dark.
Better to see the stars.
But you gotta hurry. The scene.
Interesting.
What are you drawing, sweetie?
My new friend.
Who's your new friend?
Okay, I think I found a connection. Hey, this is Nashi. Where am
Nashi.
I? That's a good question. I am lost. Super lost. I'm looking for Tamio's scroll. With all her memories and stories. I've tracked it here. Nice, right?
Interesting.
I'm gonna get it back. That's all I got left to you. Oh, okay. This way it looks less horrifying.
And then the s'more fell right through the graham cracker.
And who are these two supposed to
Did you
be?
hear that?
I'll go check it out.
I'm getting a real Stranger Things vibe from this.
Coming through! Leave this many mirrors.
Oh, that would freak me out.
Not going back that way. Okay.
Oh, that looks cool.
Let's do this. I'm not sure I'm gonna make it out of here. So if this is working, if anyone's seeing this, please send help. Anyone.
Right off the bat, this is giving me not just Stranger Things vibes, but there was a South Korean movie that I watched on YouTube. I forget the name of it, but it was basically about a haunted house that a bunch of like live streamers and like South Korean YouTubers went to like develop content for. It was really, really interesting. This is kind of giving me that same vibe. And that is some eldritch horror looking stuff right there. I like that. Now what's up with the moth? That was very cool. I like that. Nice intro.
Welcome. I'm your host, Blake Rasmussen. I want to welcome you all to the live Duskmourn House of Horror debut at PAX West. So, love to see so many faces in the audience. There's a ton of people watching at home right now, too. We haven't done this in a while, but we are always
This is the guy
really
that usually
excited
runs
to be
the
at PAX West
weekly
because we sleep
MTG
in our own beds. This
channel.
is our backyard. And so we brought our A game, we brought our A panel. They are going to throw you unceremoniously from the bright and happy world that was Bloomborough into what you just saw, Duskmourn, House of Horror. So let's bring them on right away. Let's introduce senior game designer Annie Sardellis, senior...
As much as I really enjoyed the tonal shift of Bloomborough, I'm glad we're getting a little bit of horror to counterbalance. Just in time for spooky season.
Art director Ovidio Cartagena and executive producer Mike Turian. Welcome, welcome. Before we introduce them, I also want to call out, you may have received some goodies when you came in, if you can't get enough of spooky houses, and if, like me, you are a fan of the Trail at House on the Hill, you've got a card in there that you can play in your next haunt, and that art may look a little familiar after this panel, so...
Says, Twitching doll, you come across a well-loved doll that makes you yearn for simpler times. It's twitching unnervingly, but you still feel the desire to clutch it for comfort. Make a sanity roll. 6 plus gain 2 sanity. 0 to 5. Take 2 physical damage and 1 mental damage. Okay, that's cute.
Nice to have all of that under one roof. But let's meet our panelists who are going to talk all about Duskmourn today and hopefully scare the expletive out of you a little bit.
Please do.
We're going to start on this side and we'll work our way down. So let's hear from Annie. What was your role on Duskmourn and what do you do?
Hi, I led the vision design of Duskmourn, which is sort of early design before we throw it over to set design, which was led by Jules Robbins. I also led our set of 4 commander decks. Previous to this, I had just worked on Bloomborough's 4 commander decks, so it was a pretty big shift, but still pretty fun.
My name is
Okay, so we know who to
Cartagena.
blame.
I was a senior art director for Duskmourn House of Horror, so responsible for all the visuals and kind of the atmosphere of the set. So if you ask yourself, why so many moths? Why the TV static? I have answers for you.
Hi, Mike Turian. I'm the executive producer for Magic, and I got to work on the and be the lead for Duskmourn as well. As part of that, I get to work on the collectability aspects, the product upcoming. We have some awesome new products with Duskmourn, and I get to work with all of the amazing, talented team as we bring a horror set to life. So super excited to be here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thank you. Yeah. So we are going to start things off by talking about the lore and the world building of Duskmourn because it is an entirely new plane. Inspired by horror movies, games,
we haven't
and
been
other
here
media
before.
of the 1980s. with a little bit of a twist to video.
Yeah, we put the magic lens on this, and we're talking about doing this in a mansion. This has to happen. This has to be a haunted house. Yes, house. But what's the twist? What if the house never ends? Great. What if it's a whole plane that is a haunted house? Now that's awesome.
That's interesting.
Even if you feel you're in a wheat field or you're in a forest or something, you'll see a floating door or a window, curtains, carpet, lamps, chandeliers hanging from the fog above you, letting you know.
That's some
actually,
good
you're
art.
Still stuck in the house. You did
Gloom
not
Lake
escape.
Verge.
There is no escape. And what happened here is this used to be a regular plane with happiness and people in it, but a demon that was locked inside a house took over it. And his way of taking over was growing the house until there was nothing else but him and the
Valgavoth,
house.
Terror
You feel
Eater.
his presence everywhere. The name of this demon is Valgavoth.
Yeah, so you've all met Valgavoth if
That's
you have
amazing
read
looking.
the story, and if not, I highly recommend going to dailymtg.com and reading
I have not read
that
the story
when
at
you
all.
Get the chance. Valgavoth is truly something new for Magic, and for that we had to give a truly special card, Annie.
That's a gorgeous
So
art.
here he is, Valgavoth.
All right, let's see this. Valgavoth, Terror Eater, 9 mana, so that's 6 and triple blacks for a 9/9 flying lifelink elder demon. Ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. Okay, so you're not targeting this ever. If a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exiled instead. During your turn, you may play cards exiled with Valgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. Interesting. So definitely you're going to be using your life as a resource with this guy. He's going to be a really good reanimation target. I do not see anyone paying 9 mana for this. At least not in a competitive setting. Maybe Commander.
Terror Eater. This is our, big bad of the set. The bad guys are kind of why we watch horror movies or play horror games. We want to see who's pulling the strings or wielding the axe, right? So we had to go all out making this guy super big and also super hard to interact with. Like, if you even want to touch this guy with a spell, you got to be making a huge sacrifice. So our set team spent a lot of time making this guy pretty bad.
Yeah, and even though Valgavoth is the house and is the big bad, there is more to this world.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Because, in the art, at the bottom of the art there, you can kind of, see his body coming down into, these, stairs. And then there's, a doorway right underneath him. So I was curious if he was not just a demon and, was the house, was the plane. Very interesting.
Video, including some friendly folks, some smiles you may see here and there.
Well, Valgavoth didn't only grow the house into the rest of the plane, he also affected a lot of creatures and peoples within
I like that.
the plane to his vision.
That's a straight up
So
Cenobite.
One of the rules for the set was don't have anything that looks streamlined by evolution. Make it feel designed. To call back to the practical effects of the 80s. We wanted stuff to feel original and creative. But what's happening inside
really cool.
the house is, in the story, Nashi goes missing. And
Ghostbuster
he
Nashi.
sends out, much like in the video we saw earlier, he sends a garbled message to his friends to come pick him up. Mom, pick me up. So no small feat in Duskmourn. I hope you've noticed the Tameo screaming at him, trying to warn him in the painting. And he calls his friends from other planes.
Yep, we'll see on
Here we see them. It's Tyvar Kell, Kaito, Zimone, Nico, and the Wanderer. And we were thinking, this is kind
Interesting
of like a
team.
gang that you would see in any horror movie. There's a bunch of people who come together, and I hope they don't split up.
Yeah.
Each of them matches a trope in horror.
All right, so we'll go character by character and meet the gang, as it were. We've met this card before, but Video, tell us about the Wanderer's role.
The Wanderer is the final girl, so she's definitely out to kill some monsters, not very intimidated by what she sees, makes short work of them. And then we have Kaito, who is the grizzled warrior here.
Yep. And we do, Kaito is the one planeswalker in the set, Annie, so why don't you introduce us to his card?
I would not consider Kaito to be grizzled. Interesting way to describe him. Anyways, let's take a look at the card. Kaito, Bane of Nightmares, 2 blue and a black, 4 loyalty Kaito. He has ninjutsu. Return an unblocked attacker to your hand. Put this card onto the battlefield. Okay, so you can ninjutsu a planeswalker into play. That's new. We have not seen something like that before. During your turn, as long as Kaito has 1 or more loyalty counters on him, he's a 3/4 ninja creature and has hexproof. Okay, but only during your turn. Okay, interesting. +1, you get an emblem. With ninjas you control, get +1/+1. Are there going to be enough ninjas in this set to make that useful? Because, like, thinking in terms of standard, there are no ninjas. Other than Kaito, I guess. But I don't know if he counts as a ninja. 0, surveil 2, then draw a card for each opponent who lost life this turn. Okay, that's decent. And then -2, tap target creature, put 2 stun counters on it. That's pretty decent. I'd rather it just kill the creature, but stunning it's fine.
Comes to Kaito, we really want to make sure we're expressing what it means to be like a ninja planeswalker, right? So we've had a couple Kaitos before, but as Blake said, just with one planeswalker, we had a lot more bandwidth to kind of get a little crazy with it, and we haven't used ninjutsu yet on a planeswalker, so here we go, your first planeswalker with ninjutsu. Yeah, he's all about those ninjas, and he will be slashing fools at your table, so...
Mike, why don't you tell us about our next character, a fan favorite, Tyvar.
Okay. That bat. We all know Tyvar Kell loves punching people, but now he has a bat with nails in it. And a very, very gleeful look on his face. That's hilarious.
Yeah, super excited Tyvar is back. And as a video was saying, for each one of these characters, we wanted them to fit into the horror tropes. And of course, the Jock is a classic horror, right? And so Tyvar there, you see him carrying the bat, and it's pretty awesome because not only is Tyvar a card in the set, but we actually turn the bat itself into an equipment. And I know we've also shown off like a chainsaw, and so it's just one of the ways we really tried to bring that modern horror trope to life through those the equipment that you see when you're watching a horror movie also.
Yeah, and Mike, Tyvar discovers the power of math thanks to our next character. You can tell who's read the story.
I've always really liked Zimone. I hope they give her a really good card this time around.
Yeah, so this is Zimone, and Zimone, of course, represents my favorite trope, the nerd. And with Zimone, she was in Strixhaven, and there she represented Quandrix, and so we knew we wanted to bring her back to Duskmourn, and she's representing blue and green again. And as we look at her card, you'll really see, for fans of
show me the card.
the design leaned into that piece as well.
All right, and let's see Zimone's.
There we go. All right, what's this here? 1/1 for 1 green and a blue. Human Wizard. At the beginning of your end step, if a land entered the battlefield under your control this turn, and you control a prime number of lands, create Primo, the Indivisible, a legendary 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Then put that many +1/+1 counters on it. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, and 31 are prime numbers. Good that we have that reminder text, because not a lot of people would know that otherwise. Yeah, prime numbers. I love it. this is not something we've seen before, and I'm very happy to see this. You're gonna have a lot of confused players.
Card, Annie, tell us about.
Oh, well, since you're the nerd Turian, why don't you take this one? This is
sure.
beyond me.
Yeah,
So cool.
Here's Simone, and as you can see there, she rewards you for having
Indivisible.
a prime number of lands on any turn where a land entered the battlefield, right? And so in playtesting, one of the things that I love in Magic is just you find cool combos on your own. And so for me, before we saw the art of Terramorphic Expanse, that's in the set. But when you use Terramorphic Expanse, you can not find a basic land. And so I think in playtesting, I think I played my 6th land as Terramorphic Expanse, and then I sacked it because I'd way rather have another 5/5 than getting a basic land. And I think that actually was the end of the game. I think Aaron Forsyth conceded right then, because enough is enough.
Anything that can make Aaron Forsyth quit. A video. Why don't you tell us
That is
about
a
the
cool
return
card.
of Nico, who we have not seen in a while?
Well, Nico coming
Yeah, we
back
haven't seen
here
this person
is,
since Keldheim.
Exciting. Nico, they are the leader of the party, the most courageous of them, the one who gives them hope. One small tidbit about this is that little shard showing some sunlight inside of it is the only sunlight in the whole set. In all the art, I wanted this
Interesting.
to have the only sunlight because Nico's the one who's like, hey guys, let's keep going. Let's keep fighting, keeping everyone inspired, leading everyone.
I like that. Having at least one character that is like a
And the
beacon of
last
light for
our
everyone.
group is a new character, Winter.
Yeah, so Winter is like the goth or burnout of the group. He's also lived the longest in Duskmourn, and I think you can
Okay, so if this guy isn't inspired by the Cure, I don't know how.
kind of tell. I mean, I'm sorry, just look at him, but still.
Let's see
Oh,
with
yeah,
this
his-
card.
Oh, cool. We get a card. Okay, so this is a Jund card. Interesting. 1 black, green, red, 3/4, ward 2, human warlock. So it's also an outlaw. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws 2 cards. Interesting. Delirium. As long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, each opponent's maximum hand size is equal to 7 minus the number of those cards. Ooh, I like that. I would hope they would know who the Cure is. Most devs are old enough, I would hope. But I like that delirium, that last paragraph right there. That's really cool. Yeah, sure, you get to draw more cards, but you're not going to be able to keep them.
Okay. So his card is pretty interesting and really speaks to his duplicitousness as a character. As you can see, he's going to be giving out cards to a bunch of people. What's with that? I don't want to give out cards, but his delirium ability kind of cracks down on their maximum hand size. So you'll be profiting while everyone else is like, can't even hold cards anymore.
That is pretty cool.
So these are the characters that we follow in the story. Again, if you have not read the story yet, please head to dailymtg.com. Then you will laugh at the power of math joke I just made. And after this, we do have another story going up that's kind of this guided fiction experience. So knock, knock, head
Big stories.
to this URL when you get out of here. I'll
I have
also
not read
note
any of the
that,
stories yet.
Sean McGuire is going to be here at PAX in room 214 starting at 4 o'clock today. So definitely check that out. All right. Let's move on to talking about the mechanics of the set.
Okay.
So, Annie, there's kind of a big picture that seeds through everything in Duskmourn here.
It's true. So Duskmourn is first and foremost a top-down modern horror set. But with each Magic set, we always have sort of a mechanical through line that you can see from limited to constructed all over the place.
The mechanics
So
are
like how
usually what
Strixhaven
I'm
might
most
be about
interested in.
instances of sorceries or Zendikar is about lands. Here on Duskmourn, we are all about enchantments. So as we go through these mechanics, you're going to be seeing how they all coalesce, and several of them use enchantments, or some of them will key off of your enchantments, like this next one.
Yeah, so the first mechanic, tell us about Eerie, Annie.
So Eerie is a rather simple one. It is reminiscent of Constellation, but it also has this added line at the end. So whenever you play an enchantment or unlock a room,
Unlock a
you'll have to
room.
hold on for
Okay. I don't know if any of you have played Munchkin before, but I really hope they're taking a page from Munchkin on unlocking a room. Whenever you're in enchantment, you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, this card has an effect. That's pretty cool. I wonder what they're going to do with this.
For that one, it's coming up. But yeah, Eerie is just a little trigger that kind of, it's the glue that holds it all together, because you're going to be seeing enchantments on all sorts of creatures and card types here, so.
Yeah, all sorts of creatures like this adorable fellow.
Yeah,
Scrabbling skull crab.
Look at this little guy. He's very
Gross.
cutesy, very demure. He also has a little Eerie ability that mills you, as our crabs want to do in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, look, this is just like a normal, uncommon, and the flavor
Ooh,
text
cool
and
graphical
everything is
effect.
Creepy. And here you see a little bit of the arena gameplay. You see that glitch effect on it. It's very cool when this happens in the game. And we'll get to the rooms. How about right now? Okay. So let's talk, Annie, about the rooms.
All right. So rooms were our biggest shot,
You may cast either half. That door unlocks on the battlefield as a sorcery. You may pay the mana cost of a locked door to unlock it. Okay.
Or flashiest mechanic of the set, you might say. And they are enchantments, and they ask you to unlock things. They mention doors. It'll make sense when you see the actual card.
Yeah, show me the card.
In a second here.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Dollmaker's Shop, Porcelain Gallery, Enchantment Room. You may cast either half. That door unlocks on the battlefield. As a sorcery, you may pay the mana cost of a locked door to unlock it. Okay, so Dollmaker's Shop. Whenever one or more non-toy creatures you control attack, a player create a 1/1 white toy artifact creature token. Okay. Creatures you control have base power and toughness, each equal to the number of creatures you control. Whoa. Interesting. Okay. You may cast either half. That door unlocks on the battlefield. As a sorcerer, you may pay the mana cost of a locked door to unlock it. Now, is the Porcelain Gallery the cost that you need to pay? I need more information.
Okay, so let's say you want to play Dollmaker's Shop, Porcelain Gallery. When you go to cast the card, you pick which side you would like to have the effect of up front, and then it'll chill on the battlefield as an enchantment. And then later on, whenever you like, you can pay the mana value of the other side to enable whatever that ability is. So it really gives you that flexibility, that feeling of moving place to place. We really wanted to have two effects on a room because we want to feel like we're expressing like the real massiveness and what's behind every door of the setting.
Okay.
So.
And you see a little bit here about how that's going to work on Arena. You'll see that side is blacked out. It's locked. And then you can unlock it later.
Okay. So when you unlock it, do you get both abilities?
You get both sides.
You do.
But
That's
I do
cool.
want to pause. The art style on this video is...
So it's like you play one side of it, and then you pay the mana cost of the other side to unlock it fully, giving you the effects of both. That's a lot different from like the split cards we've seen in the past, where you'd have to choose one side or the other.
Is really cool, very unique for Magic, and also just
amazing art on that.
Creepy as all get up. Tell me about
That's
this.
some cool fucking art.
Were my way to play around with a wide shot, like something that's
the kind of thing I would like to have
get
like a
to see
print
the
of on my
house.
wall.
When we were doing the concept art, I said I want the house to be a character, maybe 3 million times until it's sunk in, and the artists did an amazing job. The rooms normally have two sides. Mechanically, they need two sides, but I was like, instead of having frame cut the room in half, why don't we have art that shows you what's between the walls? This has a bunch of scary monster doll arms and some eyes peeking out. One of the least scary room dividers in the whole set. And
I don't know, that's pretty
but
spooky.
We had a lot of fun. There's a ton of rooms. There's a lot of Easter eggs in the art, so I really recommend if you open a room, not during the game, please, but when you take a look at the card, take a look at the art. You'll find a lot of cool stuff in there.
Yeah. Now, of course, on Duskmourn, fear is everywhere. It underlines everything. But we've also brought those fears to life, Ovidio.
Fear of immobility.
Fears were so fun to work with. I normally don't do
The
concept
art on this set is
myself when I'm
amazing.
working on these sets, but I had to dive in. This came a little late. The idea came a little late in the development, and we dove into
Well,
find
we're not
out
playing
with
anything right
Esther
now.
Wu, we wanted to see what the shape language of them could be, but it's hard because each fear is different. Like in real life, the cards, each card is different. It appeals to something else. So we made it a little chimeric, combining different symbols within the same creature, but with the twist that you have the people who were dreaming the fear.
Well, thank
Anyone
you.
who had a nightmare regarding the fear of immobility gets trapped by this. And the faces you see are the people suffering and wailing as they dreamt this.
Yeah, and then mechanically, how did we translate that?
Okay, card. Let's see what it is. Fear of immobility, enchantment creature, nightmare. Okay, so it's a creature and an enchantment. 5 mana. When fear of immobility enters, tap up to 1 target creature. If an opponent controls that creature, put a stun counter on it. Okay. So, would there be a reason for you to tap your own creature with this? Why would you put that extra line there? When it enters, tap up to 1 target creature. Okay. Not too bad. Looks like a pretty decent draft common.
Right, so when you make an Enchantments Matter set, you kind of have to have a through line of when are we going to be seeing that enchantment type on our creatures. And here they are, you know, on all of our nightmares that are these fear of whatever have you.
And I want to show one more fear, just because of the art. This is one of my least or favorite arts in this set.
Ooh.
I don't know. A video
That's nasty looking. Look at all those teeth.
So that's one of the ones that I personally designed. We had a list of nightmares that people normally have, and I was like, fear of lost teeth. How am I gonna do that? And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do a disembodied jaw, and the teeth are falling out. You can see the nerves connecting and so on. Oriana did a great.
You also got it trying to
job
like
with the
climb
art and
off
the
of a
faces
dentist
and it
table.
coming off like the medical chair. It's pretty fun art.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's
All right, let me see this. 1 black mana, 1/1. When Fear of Lost Teeth dies, it deals 1 damage to any target you gain life. Okay, so it's just a basic creature. Nothing to write home about. But damn, that's some good art though.
Fun.
It's great.
It's fun.
Little
Yeah.
fun.
Well, I can tell
We
from
have
the
fun
audience.
here.
I can tell from the audience reaction that they too hate going to the dentist. Right? I think that's.
I think
something
that's pretty universal.
Pretty universal. Yeah.
I actually have a really good
One
dentist.
of the joys of working on these amazing.
He makes me feel very
Magic sets
comfortable
is,
whenever I'm there.
A video and I early on were, we get to look at these concept walls, and so if you can imagine some of the images we've already seen, but then there's so.
Oh god. You read that flavor text? As it drew closer, Sam felt her own teeth wriggle in their sockets, as if they wanted to leap out and join the thing. Oh god, that's creepy.
So many more, and right, you have the creepy dolls and just every monster and those elements brought to life. It's it really speaks to how the set really becomes aesthetically such a tribute to horror. So, and then here with Fear of Lost Teeth, right, as Annie was talking about, we wanted to have enchantment cards that would come out and matter early on. They're a nightmare, and it does something that's great and very functional, and just it really makes the gameplay click.
Yeah. So now there is some hope on Duskmourn. It's a little. And we see it in the form of glimmers. So, video, tell us about glimmers.
Oh, what's this?
Well, glimmers are. You were talking about the wall. We had a wall of monsters filled with monster art that we made. Part of that was the glimmers, the only hopeful thing in that whole wall. We were talking early in development, there needs to be something that drives people to survive, because there's survivors within the house that were from this plane. You're looking at one of them. So glimmers are a manifestation of what you love, what you hope for, what you wish you have, or what you fondly remember. In the previous case, it was a teddy bear. In this case,
it's a doe.
It's a lamb. So someone had a
lamb,
pet
okay.
lamb or something, you know. So they show up when you need it to guide you to safety, to guide you to friends, and they're golden.
Yeah, and mechanically, these resulted in a really cool set of.
All right. Enduring Innocence, 1 and 2 white for a 2/1 lifelink, Sheep Glimmer. So the Glimmer is like a typo. Whenever one or more other creatures you control with power 2 or less enter, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Not bad. When Enduring Innocence dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's an enchantment, not a creature. Oh, I like that. So it starts as a creature, and if it dies, you still get to have the effect as a regular enchantment. That's really damn cool. I like that. Especially if you're playing like a self-sacrifice style of deck. You can sacrifice it for benefit and then still have the effect. That's really cool. And in Curiosity, it's 4/3 flash. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Interesting. I like that one. Honestly, I like that one a little bit more. The Enduring Innocence is good, but Curiosity.
Cards here.
Yeah, so here is 2 cards from the cycle of Enduring Creatures, right? And as you can see, the first time that you cast them, you get a great creature, you know, in the case of Enduring Innocence, a 2/1 with lifelinks, and you get some card draw. And then the first time Enduring Innocence dies, because it was a creature,
That is
it comes
very,
back,
very valid.
and, that's great. It triggers the Eerie again when it comes
Thing
back.
there,
And so that's
especially with
amazing
things
for
like
that.
Sunfall
And
running
then
around.
You continue to have an enchantment that's rewarding you. And then, of course, it's Magic. You can find all sorts of ways to refresh it. But in the practical case, it's the thing providing hope, and that hope is it returning and providing the light.
I do like that the Curiosity has flash.
That's enough hope. Back to a sense of impending doom. Tell us about our next mechanic, impending, Annie.
All right, so early on design, we really wanted to make sure we had something to capture the suspense of horror, and so naturally we were like, oh, let's try Suspend. Well, we didn't end up going with Suspend because in an enchantment set, you really want those enchantments on the battlefield, right? So Jules Robbins came back one day with this sort of variation on Suspend that likewise uses time
Isn't a
counters.
creature until the last
But when you
turn.
play a
Okay.
card with Impending, it can chill on the battlefield as an enchantment, and then will later wake up as the giant.
So you can
spooky
interact with
overlord
it before it
demon
becomes a
does.
creature.
So we have 5 of these in the set.
Overlord of the Mistmoors, 5 and 2 white, 6/6 impending 4 with 4 mana. If you cast this spell for its impending cost, it enters with 4 time counters and isn't a creature until the last is removed. At the beginning of your end step, remove a time counter from it. Whenever Overlord of the Mistmoors enters or attacks, create 2 2/1 white insect creature tokens with flying. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. You play it, it comes in, you still get the 2 2/1 white flyers, and you just wait for it to become a creature later.
Set, and each one of them is a little bit reminiscent of the Titan cycle, like Inferno.
Also, another thing is it becomes a creature when you remove all the counters. Now, yes, I was just about to touch on that. With Glissa, removing counters. Also, there's another card called Render Inert that allows you to remove up to 5 counters from any permanent. So, combine those. Now we're talking.
Titan, Sun Titan, so they have these really powerful enters and attacks triggers. You're going to be getting a ton of value out of these guys.
Yes,
as
that's
they,
that's
sit on the
Tundra.
battlefield and then wake up into giant dudes.
Tundra, come
I
here.
think we can even see how that looks
Yeah.
on Arena here. While we're doing that, a video, there's some cool stuff going on in this art, too.
Yes, the Overlords were kind of interesting to design. That was a cycle where the brief to the artist was, just give me something crazy that combines our monsters with the mansion itself. So the Overlords all have architectural parts on them. And if you see the nice, if you get the catch from between the movement, the Overlord of the Mistmoors has like a nice pendant. It's a whole gigantic chandelier, so they're pretty big. They're pretty big within the mansion. As they walk around, they warp all the architecture around them. So maybe you would see them coming, but it would still
Yeah,
be too
that
late to
new
run away.
arena for this set. Looks really cool.
All right, next up, we are going to manifest some dread with our next mechanic, Annie.
Okay, so
It was a great transition, don't
Manifest.
Um,
Okay.
As we know, Old Manifest allows you to put a card onto the battlefield as a face-down 2/2. So the idea with, digging around trying to find a face-down mechanic is, again, it hits at that suspense. It hits at the, like, oh, what was that? Bump in the night? Oh, maybe, surprise, it wasn't just a 2/2. It was, one of your giant overlords or something. So with Manifest Dread, you actually get this additional selection of your top 2 cards. You pick your favorite of the 2, you put that face down as a creature, and then the other one gets dumped into your graveyard to enable some graveyard synergies also found in the set with Delirium. And hopefully you can find that creature a bit more often, because while I really dig Manifest from Fate Reforged, we just really want to make sure you were hitting those creatures a bit more often to have that more fun moment.
Yeah, and we've got 3 manifests.
Unwanted remake. Jeez, a little on the nose there with that title. Destroy target creature, its controller manifests dread. Wow, only 1 white mana to destroy a creature. That's really good. I think you're going to be seeing that a lot.
Dread cards to look at. Unwanted remake with maybe the best name in this set has a lot of good names, but Unwanted remake's up there.
Well, yeah, really with Unwanted remake, right? It really alludes to, it's like, oh, you have your favorite movie franchise, and the second one's pretty good, and then the third one, and then
very
it's like,
good
oh,
versus Mono Red.
At some point they become an unwanted remake. And then from the Magic card perspective, it's just, this is some really good cheap white removal. One of the things that's, of course, it's always so good to be able to destroy an opponent's creature for just a mana. But here also, one of the things that's so good you can do with it is you can kill your own creature in response often to it dying, and then make a surprise blocker, or then even, reveal it if you have a lot of mana available. And so it's nice that it has those 2 functions of both removing your opponent's creature.
Yeah, that's very true. Use it on your own stuff.
Creature on your own.
Yep. You're also going to see a lot of Manifest Dread in Limited with uncommons like Disturbing.
Okay, let's see this. First off, the art, amazing. Very evocative of Hellraiser and the Cenobites. So, black and red enchantment. When Disturbing Mirth enters, you may sacrifice another enchantment or creature. If you do, draw 2 cards. Cool. When you sacrifice Disturbing Mirth, manifest... Ooh, okay. Play that with Bargain. Yeah, I'm into that.
Mirth.
Yes. So for Disturbing Mirth, once again, you can see how we're playing into the enchantment theme, right? When it comes into play, you can sacrifice another enchantment or creature and draw some cards. And then if you play perhaps another Disturbing Mirth later on and sacrifice it, you get to manifest dread here. So, and that's all for just 2 mana. So it really helps you move through your deck, get some creatures. It really does a lot for red-black.
Yeah,
And
I like that a lot.
Our final Manifest Dread card is a Mythic Green.
What's this guy? 1 and 2 green, 3/3. Hauntwood's Shrieker. It's a beast mutant. When Hauntwood's Shrieker attacks, manifest it. Wow, that's pretty strong. 1 green, reveal target face down permanent. If it's a creature card, you may turn it face up. Oh, I like that. That's strong. That's real strong.
That can manifest dread every turn.
Yeah, this Hauntwood Shrieker is kind of no joke. He's going to be putting a lot of 2/2 face down bodies all over your battlefield. And his last ability allows you to play with any face down mechanic from Magic's history, basically. So maybe you're cloaking something from the murder set or any other, I don't know, just find out what kind of shenanigans you can pull with this guy.
Yeah, and one of the things that was so great about Manifest Dread is, when it was part of the set, it adds to that dread feeling, because yes, you're putting in a 2/2, and that could be any creature. You're looking at 2 cards, so you're just more likely to find a creature. But then also on the occasion where you joyously get to put a creature face up into your graveyard, of course, amazing for graveyard and reanimation strategies. But in that moment, your opponent really feels the dread of wondering, what was the other choice? What's in front of them that's now masquerading as a 2/2?
Yeah.
All right, well, we've talked about graveyard synergies, and we've seen this mechanic, but we're bringing back Delirium, Annie.
Yeah, so Delirium kind of fell into place just later in design because we
Therefore,
always
are
knew
more
we
card
needed to
types among
leverage the
cards in
graveyard
your
in some
graveyard
way.
gain
You know,
an
we have a
improved
spooky
effect.
set. We need to use that spooky zone of the game. So Delirium was a very natural fit, considering we had all these enchantments running around, cards with inherently having 2 types on them. You can also manage to get lands in your graveyard using Manifest Dread, so you can dump the land and play your creature. And it was just very useful. That's all.
Especially.
All right, what's this? Demonic Council. 1 and a black. Search your library for a demon card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Delirium if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. Instead, search your library for any card. Put it into your hand, then shuffle. That's a demonic tutor. That's strong. Yes, tutor for Bloodletter, tutor for the new big boy demon. Yeah. For the black deck that wants to combo Bloodletter with Surge of Dread, that's fantastic. I mean, I like it for its Delirium effect. Just it being a straight up demonic tutor, that's silly. I like that.
Actually, on a card
Oh,
like
yeah.
Demonic Council.
Yeah, so here we see, I think this is Marina
Gorgeous art, too.
Vandrell making a little bit of a deal with you-know-who. Sadly, she does not have Delirium, so she must search for the demon. But if you do have Delirium, you can get any card you like. So what's going on here, Ovidio?
Yeah. So what's going on is some awesome art. This is Babs Webb's debut as
I
a
am
Magic
foreseeing
artist.
a lot
Incredible
of
piece. Marina Vandrell
self-mill
is the one who
strategies
brought about
with Delirium.
The boom of what is now known as Duskmourn. She let Valgavoth whisper in her ear that he would take care of the bullies for her, and he used her house to just expand himself all across the plane. And we see this scene where they're making the pact here. I wanted Marina to look defiant and confident as it happened.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, the house does have some survivors somehow. So we had to represent that mechanically, which we did with the survival mechanic, Annie.
You can have your second main phase
not
if this card
everything
is
is
tapped
about
and
the
gain an
monsters.
effect.
We do have a couple people. We have a little mechanic here, which is kind of cute because it evokes survival in that your creature went through the attack phase, managed to end up alive at the end of the phase, and is just chilling there tapped. So it kind of means you got in a clear attack, or maybe
Veteran Survivor. 1 white mana, 2/1. Survival. At the beginning of your second main phase, if Veteran Survivor is tapped, exile up to 1 target card from your graveyard. As long as there are 3 or more cards exiled with Veteran Survivor, it gets +3/+3 and has hexproof. Okay, interesting effect.
maybe it was chump blocked or something like that, or maybe you crewed a vehicle.
Top shelf
Or
naming.
maybe the Wandering Rescuer used Convoke on you. Whatever be the case, it meant that you got through combat unscathed. There you are. Now you get a little bonus. And we brought back the Survivor type to associate the mechanic to.
Yeah. So we get a powerful 1-drop here with the survival mechanic. I also want to
Yeah,
point
that
out
is a pretty strong
we showed
1-drop.
the Wanderer earlier, but there's a lot of cool stuff in the set, like Convoke, that lets you do that as well. All right, now let's move on to the commander decks. We have 4 this time, helmed by 4 pretty cool characters. Let's
see 'em.
kick things off with Miracle Workers featuring the
Aminatou.
return of Aminatou.
Yeah, and it's also the return of the Miracle mechanic. So this Esper deck is all about jamming expensive enchantments, manipulating the top of your library, and being able to cheat them out. So grab your favorite enchantments from Duskmourn.
Too
or
bad that's
throughout Magic's
commander only.
history, Omniscience, I don't know, whatever. And then just blow out your opponents with the powerful Aminatou.
All right, we also have a second version of Winter leading the Death Toll deck.
Yeah, here's Winter again. It was really fun to get to leverage the characters a second time on the commander deck.
I really like his design. He's really cool.
So Winter here again leverages Delirium at the front of a Golgari graveyard deck. So
Nice.
you're going to be dumping a bunch of stuff in your graveyard, exiling what I like to call a Delirium's worth of cards from your graveyard in order to reanimate something.
All right, next up, of course, we had to have a deck helmed by Valgavoth.
Yeah. So this Valgavoth is a little different than the one we
Rectos.
saw before. Again,
Wow, look at that
he
art.
heads
That
up
is so
a
cool looking.
black and red group slug deck. So he's going to be dealing damage to all your opponents all the time, making them sacrifice stuff. You're going to end up the enemy of the table.
That's pretty strong.
But notably, this Valgavoth is a little smaller than the other one. Do you want to speak to that?
Well, Valgavoth goes through a process of
Honestly,
renewal all the
I would
time.
rather
Of course,
have
he's a moth. So
that version of Valgavoth
molds,
than the one
his
that we have in
costs
Standard.
Are all over the basement, and don't imagine.
Commander
small basement,
equals
he's
more
a pretty
people
big guy.
equals less
He
typical
gets,
nerd strong.
every
Yes,
time he
yes,
comes
it.
back and
Yeah,
he renews
I'm a
himself, he's
one-on-one
little
kind of
different,
person.
A little more horrifying. So this is when he's just molted.
Yeah. And, you know, he starts as a 4/4, but by the time your turn comes back around, he'll probably be a 7/7. So he's pretty big.
And our final
That is a
deck,
really cool
you
creature,
too
though.
can harness the power of math with Zimone Mystery Unraveler.
Nice.
Okay, so Zimone leads up a deck themed to jump scares. So that might mean face down cards with her mechanic Manifest Dread returning from the
Okay.
main set. Other face down mechanics through Magic's history, as well as just the play style of passing your turn while leaving a bunch of mana up. Because honestly, there is nothing scarier than that, in my opinion.
That is my playstyle right
So,
there.
Here's Zimone.
And you may have noticed at the top of those
We'll have to take a
boxes,
look
it
at what's
says
actually in those
Arch
decks.
Enemy cards included. So Arch Enemy, we haven't done that in a while, Annie. What is Arch
True.
Enemy?
So Arch Enemy is an alternate multiplayer format of sorts, where 3 of you team up against one Arch Enemy. The Arch Enemy is teamed with an oversized deck of schemes, which are all free, powerful effects. And we kind of leaned into that 3 versus 1 lineup with the Zimone, Winter, and Aminato against the Valgavoth here on the cover. But any one of the 4 or any commander deck you want can just be the Arch Enemy when you go to play. So
Yeah, and we've
Interesting.
got some art, and these video are a really fantastic excuse to do some really cool art.
We may.
I love playing with the different aspect ratio. Normally, as an art director, you get to play with just 4x3. This time we got to flip it a little bit. I was thinking about vintage book covers, vintage movie posters when we were directing this. This is a great piece by Jessica Fong. Of her strength of her comic book covers, I want to bring some of that dynamism into the set. This is another type of monster that we hadn't seen, by the way, that this is like the unwinds. It's just like a bunch of fabric. And the following one is one of my favorite arts with Valgavoth in it. It's a symbolic representation of him not just taking
high tundra.
over Duskmourn, but wanting to take over everything. Because, of course, he feeds off fear. The more fear, the more power.
That's gorgeous
So
art.
we've got 2 of these schemes to show off.
Yeah.
So here is I Am Duskmourn. By the way, these names go really hard.
they do.
But how do these play out?
Yeah, so each of the commander decks comes with 10 schemes, and 8 of those are brand new with 2 reprints. But yeah, again, I do love that we just had more space to play with the art and such. But here is a new design. It uses the ongoing subtype in order to allow you to kind of stash this scheme for later. And whenever you want
Yes,
to play an
the
expensive
very
spell,
human
you
children.
then abandon the scheme and play that spell for free.
And our second scheme to show off is My Champion
girl.
Stands Supreme.
Yeah, we were kind of being able to pair Arch Enemy with Commander allowed us to, mention your Commander for the first time. So we also get to feature
Getting
Winter
cozy bean.
here, and it just kind of soups up your Commander into a big scary guy.
And it looks to me, Mike, like we haven't done Arch Enemy in a long time, but it looks like we updated the frame.
Yeah, that's right. One of the things that when we got to come back to Arch Enemy, we wanted to do is, hey, refresh the frame, just give it a new, amazing look, really bring it into that borderless style
Does look
that so
pretty
many
good.
people have loved, and we've been doing with cards. So this when you see the Arch Enemy cards, they're going to all be in this this new borderless frame. So it looks awesome and just makes the art look, even more stunning.
Yeah, and if you've never played Arch Enemy before and you're interested in playing it,
seriously,
there's an
the
article again on
art alone
dailyMTG.com
is a
by
draw
Kevin
for this
Berry
set.
that outlines all of the rules for Arch Enemy, which have been updated a little bit for this release. So you'll definitely want to check that out. Now, we're going to get to the shiniest part of our presentation, which is all the booster fun and collectability. And I think we're going to start things off with a video.
Ooh, I like videos. Japan Showcase. Overlord of the Mistmores. Okay. Featuring Japanese artists inspired by traditional hobby shop styles. Oh, those are cool looking. Only in collector boosters.
Alright, so it's definitely worth the applause. The Japan Showcase is something we've not done before, and the style is something we've not done before. Tell us what's going on here, Mike.
Yeah, so I think the video really captures it so well that, you know, we wanted to bring an amazing style from that we all, if you've played Japanese card games or been in a Japanese card shop, it's just, they do such an amazing job at pairing these amazing Japanese artists.
Yeah, honestly,
with
it looks like a
new,
Pokemon card.
An all-new treatment, right? We both have the traditional foil here and the fracture foil. For those in the room, I do have a fracture foil. I'll hop down afterwards and you can come and see it for yourself in person. And so, you know, we wanted to bring that to life and bring it to Magic. The collectability aspect is so important to us.
Okay,
and one of the things that's amazing about the Japan Showcase is, you know, we're introducing it here in Duskmourn, and we'll be doing it ongoing in a lot of upcoming Magic sets. And then for these cards themselves, as it noted there in the video, you do get these, they're collector booster exclusive. The traditional foil show up in about 9% of collector boosters, and then that fracture foil shows up in 1%. And this
honestly, I wouldn't even care about the fracture foil. Like, the art alone looks amazing.
Booster, it'll always have a Japanese language card when you get one, right? But for the English and other collector boosters, in those you'll get an English card 2/3 of the time you get one, and then the other time we'll have 1/3 we'll have a Japanese language one. And so once again, that's really, we wanted to bring that feeling of just being in Japan in a card shop and opening up this amazing treatment, this amazing feel, and I think these cards really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, and before we get to the next treatment, so this next card that we're going to put up, which will be the first time we're showing it, someone in the building tried to talk me, I won't say who, tried to talk me out of putting it in this presentation. It's
I do think it clutters up the card too much, and you don't even get to see the art.
So I said no, and we're putting it in, and so this is the Jolly Balloon Man. Sounds like a
Jolly Balloon
dude.
Man. All right, let's see this. The Jolly Balloon Man, 1 a red and white, 1/4 haste for a human clown. 1 tap, create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature in addition to its other colors and types. It is flying and haste. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, I can definitely see this being very effective. Kind of reminds me of Kiki-Jiki the Mirror Breaker, the original version.
He's definitely jolly.
So jolly.
That was a great piece by the
Also, look at the balloons.
Campbell White. The brief was written by Emily Ting, who was the world building lead on the set. Great ideas all around. We had a lot of fun.
Good question. Let's read this again. Create a token that is a copy of another target creature you control. So, any target creature, except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature in addition to its other colors and types, and it's flying in haste. Sacrifice. Okay, so yeah, it says you can target the legendary creature. So you'll create a balloon that's a copy of it. The copy will be legendary as well, because it has all of its other colors and types. So you can copy Atraxa, get the enters ability, and then just immediately sacrifice it. That's pretty good. And yes, 10 of 10 for body horror. Amazing. I love the fleshy balloons. It's so nasty.
Fun with the craziest stuff we could come up with. Some was left on the cutting room floor. I am super glad that this made it into the card set because I love that piece.
But tell us about this treatment too, aside from him blowing up human heads.
So this is the double exposure treatment. You'll find this in play boosters and in collector boosters, in foil and non. And then going back to, you know, not only do we want to do modern horror, but we wanted to tap into that vibe of the 80s, right? And here with the Jolly Balloon Man and on the legendary creatures of the set, we got to bring this high contrast, color photography looking feel, and it really also sort of highlighted the characters in a new perspective.
I like
right?
that.
You can see here with Winter and Zimone, it really also it not only captures their external physical appearance, but in with Winter there you can see the psychological horror, because that's such a huge part of the space as well. And so this treatment really captured that. And then lastly, we also did these in a texture foil.
Again, gorgeous arts.
Not all of them, but there are a small selection. So we have Valgavoth there, and also Kaito, another one that I
like
for
that.
anyone after to check out. And these are a collector booster exclusive. So, it's a treatment that we've brought into some of our master sets and other sets. And one of the things is, as we do collectability, it really lets us pair what's amazing and resonant about the set with treatments that we know it's like, oh, these are going to come
I'm not
together
huge
and
on like the
really,
whole
do outstanding
etched
work.
foils
So
or whatever.
I'm glad we
But
brought
that
texture
Valgavoth
foil
looks
into
really
Duskmourn
good.
as well.
Yeah. And we didn't want to leave instants and sorceries out, so we have, Mike, the paranormal frame cards.
Yeah, so the paranormal frame.
Hold up, new card. Peer past the veil, 2 red and a green. Discard your hand, then draw X cards, where X is the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. Okay, so you can draw like up to 5 off of that, usually.
So here we see Peer past the veil, and it's in.
I think I like the original art more than the extra art.
Frame. One of the things when talking with Emily Tang, the creative lead, is how do we bring technology and Duskmourn together, right? Earlier in the video, in the arena, you saw that crab and having that glitch effect. That is something that we felt like really captured the plane, but also we wanted to keep it true to Magic. And in the Booster Fun, the paranormal frame was us doing that. You can see here, there's that television. It tries to capture the television feel, but also we've done it in each frame for the different colors that has a different look and feel as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see the spread of.
I do agree the glitch effect is pretty nice on the brain. They actually added a really nice glitch animation inside of Arena for certain like cards. So I think that would do something for you as well.
Of the coloring here, you'll even notice a sneaky preview card there in the middle. Split up.
Hold up, let's read that. Split up. 1 and 2 white. Choose one. Destroy all tapped creatures, or destroy all untapped creatures. Ooh, I like that. That's really solid, because you can just attack or like wait for an opponent's attack and then just blow up one side of the board for only 3 mana. That's really, really strong. I like that. Whatever happens, we need to stick together. God.
That's one of my favorite
Silly.
gags, I guess, in this set.
Yeah.
They do split up.
Yeah, they do split up. It doesn't go well.
No, I mean, it kind of ties into the survival mechanic earlier about, like, your tap creatures ended up surviving or whatever.
Yeah, and here with the frame, for one, I mean, you have to check out the flavor text on both Split Up and Unwanted Remake, right? But, you can find these in play in collector boosters. And
yeah,
so
the art on Unwanted Remake, awesome.
Of cards,
the title of the
really
card,
say,
Unwanted
hey,
Remake,
what cards will work with this
perfect.
treatment? Great, let's bring them in and do that. And so I think they came out.
Yeah. Next up, we have a really evocative art style, which we're calling the Mirror Monster cards. Here's a Razorkin.
All right, what's this guy? Razorkin Needlehead. Okay, so Hellraiser. 2 red mana for a 2/2 Human Assassin. It has first strike during your turn. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to them. Oh, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be real good.
Needlehead for the first time, but a video, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I've
with
seen
that
a lot of
style on the
art
right there.
so far that I would want prints of, framed and on the wall.
We watched a lot of horror films, And one of the things that's very common is a shot of the viewer getting attacked. Normally the eye, of course, but you see the monster in a reflection and really quick. Hopefully the camera cuts to showing you the full monster, but we were trying to mimic that here. We're trying to show when the monster approaches and the
That
horror
is pretty cool.
that is being
I do like that.
experienced by being attacked by the monster. So probably how I feel when someone casts that, you know.
Yeah, and so here's Haunted Shrieker again. And one of the
I
fun
like
things
that.
when we were bringing this treatment to life is we really there's a number of
That's
ways you
cool.
show that mirror aspect, right? In the previous card, we saw it in the glasses. Here, you see the victim of the Haunted Shrieker, the likely victim, I suppose, and holding up their blade to try to keep the monster away. But in the blade itself, and so one of the things I really love about these cards is they have taken that mirror element and brought it to life in a variety of ways.
Yep. And of course, Mike, I'll stay with you. We are continuing to do special guests, and
I love that split open chest wound on the monster.
Yeah. So one of the amazing things we get to do when we work on sets is we get to.
I got so excited for a split second there, but that's not going to be in standard. That is just a reprint. Damnation. I would have loved to have that in standard.
Work with amazing artists. Videos highlighted some of them. Getting to work with Masahiro Ito, right? Who's the artist for a very popular video game franchise. And taking him and pairing him with Damnation, right? Because we only do 10 special guests in each
Black's
set.
pretty good
And so
already.
having Masahiro Ito come and, Damnation was...
Having Damnation would just make it better.
It was an amazing, right? It's like, it's Wrath of God, but in black. And now in Commander, of course, it's a staple with such a powerful effect. So it's, one of the most classic, iconic Magic cards compared with a video game horror artist. That's amazing. And we also saw Collected Company earlier too.
Yeah.
The art for that. So that's another special guest. So some really great cards.
Yeah, and we've got, I think, the art blown up a little
Take it
bit
easy,
bigger
boys.
here.
Such an honor to have him on Magic the Gathering, Masahiro
Okay, you
Ito,
got a little concept
someone
art
that
there.
A lot of us have grown up admiring his work, and he's influenced a lot of what we've done.
Yeah.
Take it
and
easy,
I believe
boys.
there's an interview that we got to do with him as well, and so that'll be shared. And as part of that, he shared the work in progress. You can see what Damnation looked like early on versus the finished piece. So yeah, an honor.
Yeah, and our next one's not. It's booster fun. It's sneaky, but it's a little bit different. It's kind of an Easter egg video. So tell us about what's going on in the Lurking Evil cards.
So if anyone's been like me in a haunted hotel or a haunted house, you tend to see a shadow of the corner of your eye. We wanted to kind of replicate the effect
Reluctant
of
role model.
something suddenly showing up and scaring you.
Oh.
And so some of the cards, that's one of the ideas that Emily Tang and I discussed before we even had concept art for this set. We were like, what if we put a monster in some versions of the art but not in others? And just, you'll find out.
That's kind of cool.
What the monster are. You have a full play set, and you're like, wait a minute, this monster wasn't here.
So that monster's
What's
really
happening?
cool
So
looking.
It's a little bit, it's our way of haunting the set itself.
Yeah. And then,
Is that
and then for
so,
those of you
honey?
playing the Mark Rosewater Blogatalk game at home, here's the answer to one of your trivia questions. But
Oh god,
Norin's here.
it's Psychotog.
Yeah, apparently Norin got lost somewhere in the Dominaria temporal time crisis or something like that, and then ended up somewhere in Dominaria. But he might be a coward, but he is wary, so I think his chances are good for, getting back to his Dominaria. But we'll see. He also has a magic card.
So a cool thing about this,
Oh yeah,
that's
true.
a cool thing about this treatment with Norin is Of course, if you see the regular version, you're gonna think, oh, well, he's just scared of that inoffensive, whatever it is, in between the door.
Yeah.
It's a gremlin. But on
Spooky
the
boy.
lurking evil version, you'll see the monster at the top, and you're like, oh, yeah, I would also run away from that.
Yeah. He's got good intuition.
And as Annie said, he does also have a magic card, which we will show.
All right, what is it? Norin Swift Survivalist 1 red for 2/1 Human Coward. Norin Swift Survivalist can't block. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may exile it. You may play that card from exile this turn. What? Creature you control becomes blocked. Okay, so if Norin attacks and gets blocked, you can say, nope, I'm out, and then replay it from safety. That's pretty cool.
Besides being a cool card with an interesting ability, Mike, do you want to point something out for the collectors out there?
Yeah. So for people, so of course, a video and Emily's idea, super exciting. Love to bring this in life and play in collector boosters. 3/4 of the time you get a regular version, 1/4 you get the lurking evil. And then for people who don't want to be scared and instead want to organize their collection, you'll notice they have different collector numbers. So you don't have to be looking at the art to figure out which is which.
All right, our last treatment. Of course, we did this, but with any new frame, it can be a little bit tricky. But we did do borderless room cards here.
Yeah, room cards are.
My Mike was like, yeah,
You know what? I think I heard her say that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to talk.
We saw this earlier. One of the things that's so amazing about the borderless room cards is, we just. It really makes up what is awesome about Duskmourn, and you're in a house of horror. Of course, we wanted to bring the.
What are you doing, Tundra?
We are excited about the frame and that we got to bring it to borderless, and I think it really, in so many ways, speaks for itself. And these, once again, play boosters and collector boosters both.
I just realized that this mentions non-toy creatures, so keep your eyes peeled for other toy creatures, I guess.
All right, now Duskmourn House of Horror is going to release September 27th everywhere, but it was really close to October. So we are doing something special for spooky season. You can actually see it here a little bit. But we have what's called a Nightmare Bundle that is going to be coming out on October 18th. First of all, it's some of the coolest packaging we've ever done, bar none.
That is pretty cool.
You can see it here. It's lenticular. You may or may not be able to see that. But then we've got the deck box in there, and there's a ton of cool stuff in here.
Am I now?
Including a number of promo cards you can get, Mike.
Yeah, so not only do you get these, the cards themselves as posters, right? So we made, of course, horror and movie poster go together. So they're quite nice sized posters. We also you can see there, so here are in the Nightmare Bundle. We worked with Tim Jacobus,
Commander cards.
Is another amazing artist. If you're
those are really cool arts
that he's illustrated,
especially Damn.
Wonderful. And so 3 of the cards that we included as promo cards that you get 1 of 3 of each of these in the Nightmare booster itself. So you can see Cryptghast, Exhume, and Damn were all done by Tim Jacobus in a borderless style. And then we also have Living Death, Goro's Vengeance, and Archon of Cruelty.
I want those.
In the movie
those are
poster
cool.
Style. And so for these,
especially
again,
that Living Death
bundle, you get a pack in there, the Nightmare booster, and you'll get 1 of the first cards and then 1 from that second set. So. And here's us showing off the lenticular.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How do you rewind a magic card? Do you know?
What's that?
How do you rewind a magic card before you return it?
You put it in the VCR rewind. Or
There you go.
Be kind, rewind.
So let's take a look at all the products coming out with Duskmourn. It's a fairly normal slate. We've got that Nightmare Bundle down there in the middle. I will point out, so in the upper right, you're going to see some different packaging art for the Japanese collector boosters. So that's not something we do very often. They're still collector boosters, just like the other language collector boosters, but Kaito's pretty awesome, and so we put Kaito on the Japanese collector booster packaging. Also coming back with Duskmourn House of Horror are welcome decks. So we've had welcome decks gone for a while.
Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Applaud. Welcome decks have been gone for a while.
Starter-friendly
They're a
decks,
great
maybe?
way to bring new players
Yes,
into the game, to
that's
just
what you like to see.
teach. A lot of stores give these out for free just to demonstrate. So, Mike, can you talk a little bit about what's in a welcome deck?
Yeah, so in
Maybe.
the welcome deck, you get 60 cards, 30 of which will be a deck that is the color that you see, right? So if you have the white package, you'll get a 30-card white deck. We've included a little bit of booster fun in there, but those 30 cards are always the same in every white deck. And then you also get a 30-card deck that includes one of the other four. So you'll either get the 30-card blue, black, red, or green.
Okay,
deck.
so it's kind of like
basically, in one
a jumpstart
package,
deck.
You get everything you need to, for you and a friend to start playing, and afterwards, of course, you can shuffle them together, mix them, do what you want. But we were excited to bring these back because, we love Magic and we want more people to love Magic.
I think I actually got my first welcome deck at PAX. Did
you?
Yeah, back in the day.
Nice. We are going to do a bit of a rolling rollout. That's going to be the words I use there. That these are not going to be available in Europe, the Middle East, or Africa with Duskmourn House of Horror, but we'll get there eventually. All right, now let's talk about all the dates to keep in mind for Duskmourn House of Horror. There's a lot coming up. Oh no, it did the thing. Okay, we're going to read through this. So, August 31st, that's today, kicks off day 1 of 13 days of Duskmourn previews. So, not only did we get
sorry
to
about
kick
that.
things
I've been
off
a little
at PAX, which is
relaxed and
awesome,
far
but
away
it
from the
worked out
microphone.
perfectly to do 13 days.
And hello.
Culminating in the full card image gallery on September 13th. Then the Magic the Gathering Arena release is going to be on September 24th. You're just going to have to ignore what the lines look like. September 20th through 27th, pre-release events at your local game store. So be sure to talk to your local game store, get signed up early. It's going to release everywhere on September 27th. There will be some commander parties October 4th through
It would be
10th.
fun to go to
Again, I'll call
a
out that
pre-release for
Nightmare
this.
Bundle is releasing October 18th, just in time for Halloween season. Then we're going to have a trick-or-treat Halloween event at your local WPN store, October 25th through the 31st, followed by an open haunted house just after that, and commander parties. I also want to call out, we're doing something special for the buy-a-box this time around. So you will, if you look at that
That's,
card I talked about at the beginning.
That's quite a ways
you
away,
will get
Mr. P-Man.
a Twitching Doll buy-a-box promo, whether you buy... I see people shaking their heads. Nope, don't want that. If you buy
Super creepy.
either a Play Booster box or a Collector Booster box, and as a bonus for Duskmourn, you will also get
that
a
is,
Collector Booster. So
that's
a
a bit of ways
collector
away.
booster on top of the buy-a-box for any type of Duskmourn House of Horror box.
I consider
you
myself lucky that I
purchase.
live in a city that has
That's great.
a few LGS. But I understand not everyone has the same luck that I do.
Thrown so much information at your faces today. Ton of creepy art, ton of behind-the-scenes information. If there's anything you missed, anything you want to catch up on, head to dailymtg.com. Probably now or in the next. This timer says 0, so I'm going to say now. And you're going to be able to find collecting articles, information on WPN events, all of that sort of stuff. And more information on this buy-a-box, which is great.
That is how I've been satisfying my
also
magic
at
fix.
the beginning of the show,
is Arena.
at 4 o'clock today, we are going to have a special spooky session with Shauna McGuire in room 214. Author and Tyvar fan extraordinaire. I'll note we didn't preview the Tyvar card in this. I don't know, that was weird.
Yeah.
So you may want to stop by room 214 at 4 p.m. today. It's a haunted pop-up, and there may be a few other surprises there as well. So I want to thank you all for joining us, and of course, thank the panelists, and go enjoy Duskmourn.
I think this set is going to be very cool. I like the mechanics a lot. Nope, nope. Maybe we can watch that later. All right, let's go ahead and come back over here. Yes, yeah. That's one thing I like about Arena over going to like an LGS and playing in person is if I go down to Friday Night Magic, I'll be lucky if I get 4 or 5 full matches in. If I just sit around and play Arena, either on my mobile device or on my computer, I can play as much as I want to and get a lot of great playtesting in. Okay, so we just saw a lot of really cool star cards from Duskmourn. I'm really excited. I hope all of you guys are too. But as for right now, I've got to get going and get ready to go pick up my wife from her work and take the dogs out to use the restroom because they look a little antsy. So this live stream will go up onto the channel as a VOD pretty soon after I finalize this live stream. So if you missed anything, you can always check back on it later. So until next time, y'all take care of yourselves.